in a dystopian cityscape showing a stark contrast between towering skyscrapers and slums. People rush by, looking tense. Sonny sitting on a rusty bench, holding a cup of coffee. He looks exhausted. Sonny taking a sip of coffee and grimacing.
So bitter.
Sonny standing up, tossing the coffee cup toward a trash bin, but missing.
What a ripoff.
Sonny picking up the cup and placing it in the bin. He then walks toward the police station. Sonny entering the police station, glancing at reinforced walls and hidden turrets. A tired officer frowning at Sonny.
Are you lost, boy?
Sonny clearing his throat.
As demanded by the third special directive, I am here to surrender myself as a carrier of the nightmare spell.
Officer's face shifting from irritation to wariness.
Are you sure you're infected? When did you start showing symptoms?
Sonny is shrugging.
A week ago.
The officer turning pale and pressing a button.
Attention, code black in the lobby. I repeat, code black.
In the basement, there is an armored room with Sonny strapped to a chair. Officers stand guard with rifles. An old policeman entering and checking Sonny's restraints.
What's your name, kid?
Sonny blinking tiredly.
Sunless.
The old policeman raising an eyebrow.
Sunless. That's a strange name.
Sonny smirking weakly.
It's because I was born during a solar eclipse. My mom had a poetic soul, you see.
The old policeman nodding.
Do you want me to contact your family?
Sonny shaking his head.
There's no one. Don't bother.
The old policeman speaking seriously.
Listen carefully. Once you fall asleep, you'll be transported inside your first nightmare. Nightmares are trials created by the spell. You'll meet monsters, sure, but also people. Remember.
Sonny looking confused.
How do you know?
The old policeman sighing.
You might have to kill them, kid. So think of them as illusions.
Sonny nodding, struggling to stay awake.
Uh-huh.
The old policeman continuing.
Remember?
Sonny's eyes closing.
If you survive, you'll become an awakened. But if you die, a nightmare creature will emerge in the real world. So, please don't die, Sunless.
What?
A mysterious voice echoes in the darkness.
Aspirant, welcome to the nightmare spell. Prepare for your first trial.
Sonny dreamt of a mountain, jagged and lonesome, cutting through the night sky. A place where time itself seemed to bend. The moon fell, the sun rose in reverse, and snowflakes floated back into the clouds. Time flowed backward, revealing bones of the past. A slave caravan emerged, moving in reverse as if history itself was unraveling. And then time resumed. Sonny awoke to find himself shackled, part of a grim procession. Sonny was no longer dreaming. He was a slave, shackled and shivering, in a caravan of the desperate and the damned. His body ached, his spirit tested. This was not the trial he'd been promised. The spell had thrown him into the depths of despair. Around him, others shared his fate. Some cursed, others endured. All were bound by chains and the cruelty of their captors. Desperate for answers,
What?
Sonny focused.
What the actual fuck?
The spell responded, revealing his aspect. But the truth was bitter. His aspect, temple slave, offered no power, no hope, only the weight of his chains. Sonny, inner thought. Sonny's heart sank. The spell had given him nothing but a cruel joke. Yet, he refused to surrender. Kindness was rare in this world. A young soldier's pity was met with violence, a reminder that slaves were not seen as human. Young soldier, bear with it a little more, child. We will stop for the night soon. For now, here, drink some water. Older soldier said.
He'll receive water with the rest of them once we camp.
Young soldier said.
But
Older soldier said.
Shut your mouth. These slaves are not your friends. Understood? They're not even people. Treat them like people, and they'll begin imagining things.
Sonny bore the pain in silence, but his resolve hardened. He would survive, no matter the cost. The mountain pass was merciless. Cold, hunger, and exhaustion threatened to claim them all. Yet, Sonny pressed on, driven by a will to survive. Broad-shouldered slave said,
"Why bother? The weakling will be dead by sunrise anyway. The mountain will kill him."
Shifty slave said,
"Speak for yourself, fool. I'm planning to survive."
The spell had thrown him into the abyss, but Sonny would not let it consume him. His trial had only just begun. Will Sonny survive the first nightmare? Or will the mountain claim another victim? Sonny had finally come to terms with his fate. After visiting his parents' makeshift resting place, a few lines carved into an old tree, he added a third line for himself. Strangely, he felt relaxed, even carefree. There was no more need to worry about money, food, or survival. The worst had already happened. What else was there to fear? Becoming a slave and freezing to death no longer felt like a shock. Besides, Sonny knew the cold wouldn't kill him. He had seen the caravan's fate in his vision, piles of bones littering the ground. Monsters would attack soon, likely within hours. He still had a chance. Sonny decided to study his attributes more carefully. Last time, he had been too outraged by his aspect, temple slave, to pay attention. Attributes could mean the difference between life and death. His first attribute, fated, described how unlikely events, both good and bad, were drawn to him. It wasn't destiny, but a tendency for the improbable to happen around him. Sonny thought to himself,
So this is why I got such a rare, useless aspect. Great.
the second attribute, mark of divinity, hinted at a faint connection to the divine. It might grant access to sacred places, or enhance sorcery, neither of which Sonny could use. The third attribute, child of shadows, was a mystery. But as the sun set and darkness fell, Sonny realized he could see perfectly in the dark. Shadows recognized him as one of their own. Sonny thought to himself,
Finally, something useful. Maybe shadows have more gifts for me.
The caravan stopped for the night. The slaves, shivering and exhausted, were herded into a tight circle around a bonfire. The soldiers tended to their horses first, leaving the slaves to fight for warmth. Sonny sat at the edge of the circle, his back freezing. The stronger slaves pushed closer to the fire, while the weaker ones, like Sonny, were left in the cold. The chain binding them made movement nearly impossible. The broad-shouldered slave hissed in irritation.
Damn Imperials.
The soldiers handed out icy water and moldy bread. Sonny forced himself to eat, though it did little to ease his hunger. Around him, others grumbled in despair. The shifty slave spat out angrily.
By all the gods, they fed me better in the dungeons. And most of us were waiting for the gallows.
Nearby, bright red berries grew from the snow. The shifty slave eyed them hungrily, crawling toward them on all fours. The gentle-voiced slave spoke up calmly. I would advise against eating those, friend. Sonny turned to see the speaker, a tall, lean man with the dignified look of a scholar. How such a man ended up a slave was a mystery. The shifty slave snapped back.
You and your advice again. What? Why?
The scholar explained patiently. These berries are called bloodbane. They grow where human blood has been spilled. That's why they're common along slave trade routes. The shifty slave retorted.
So what?
The scholar sighed.
Bloodbane is poisonous. A few berries could kill an adult man.
The shifty slave cursed. The shifty slave flinched back, glaring at the scholar. Sonny, however, was distracted. He recognized this campsite from his vision, the place where the caravan would meet its end. As the slaves huddled together, a thundering noise echoed from above. Sonny's heart raced. He knew what was coming. In the next second, something massive crashed from the sky. The caravan's fate was sealed. The attack had begun.